Welcome to Azur Lane Meta. Today we are going to be talking about affection. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be talking about affection in Azur Lane. What is affection? It is effectively your relationship with a specific ship girl. Why do we care about it? Well, the higher it is, the better stats we are going to be getting from your ship girl, and it affects all base stats except speed. So it starts at a base of 50 when you get a ship, and it is typically between a range of 0 and 100. Now, there's part with oathing where it goes higher than that. But generally, our typical range is between 50 and 100 because we start off at 50 and go to stranger. Now, we can go below the stranger level to disappointed, which is when it is less than 30. But that only happens when we repeatedly use a ship with 0 morale in battling, which basically means we have to keep killing off the same ship over and over again, and then she won't like us. But most ships start at 50 and only go up. So we start at Stranger, which is between 31 and 60. Then once we get to 60 until 80, we have what is called Friendly. And this gives us a 1% boost to all stats except speed. Then when we move to 81, or past 80, we go 81 to 99, we have Crush, which increases all base stats except speed by 3%. And then when we get to 100, we are in love. We get 6% boost to all base stats except speed again. And we have the ability to oath our ship. So once we get to a love of 100, we can then take a promise ring and oath the ship. A promise ring, we get one in the game through the regular quest line. So you'll get one for free. And then the other ones you have to buy from the shop. Now, I highly recommend that you do buy promise rings for the shop because they are important in stat boosting. Because once you oath a ship, they instantly get a 9% boost to all their base stats from the 6% they had at love. And if it increases their cap of affection from 100 to 200. And if you get to the second cap of 200, now their base stats are boosted by 12%. So the best a ship can get without a promise ring is a 6% stat boost, while with a promise ring can be a 12% stat boost. So if you're considering being top tier and ending out all your ships, you want to have them with affection at 200, and you can only have that if you oath them. So now that we know what affection does and what oathing kind of does, let's move into how do we improve it. So there are 3 main ways that you can get higher levels of affinity. The first main way is setting her as your main secretary. Now with the new update of secretaries, we can set 5 of them. However, very clearly, only the one in the leftmost spot, there's a little icon that'll show which one it is, will receive the affinity boost. Now this is, you get 1 point of affection every 300 to 320 minutes, and it caps out at 90. So you cannot get to love just by setting her as your secretary. What does this mean? That means that between 300 and 320, that will take about 8.3 to 8.8 days to get from 50 to 90 just by setting her as secretary, which is kind of the base. So if you get a ship, you set her as the main secretary for the first, let's say 9 days, because you're probably not going to get her exactly at the reset day. So let's say about 9 days. Once you get her, and then 9 days later, you can probably have her through commissions and other things a little higher level, and then we can go to what is the second way to gain affinity, and that is using the ship girls in sorties. So what this means is when we are in the sorties, we get 0.0625 affinity per battle that the ship is in. Now this is with morale, but with not 0 morale. And we get an additional bonus if we get the MVP. So if the ship is an MVP, she gets 0.125 instead of 0.0625. So if we just want to look at, let's say we did this and went through the 50 to 90 just from the affection gained from the secretary boost. Now we're going from 90 to 100. How many battles would that be? That would take about 160 battles if she was MVP in none of them, and 80 battles if she's MVP in all of them. So we're looking between 80 and 160 battles to get from 90 to 100. There is one additional way that we can gain affinity, and it is very inconsistent, but I will mention it. If you put a ship in the dorm and you give them food, there's a chance, depending on what food you gave them, there's for each different food, there's a different percentage. There's a chance that they'll get a little heart icon. You'll see it every once in a while. It'll like give you a notification for your dorm. You'll go in and you'll click the heart icon on your ship. If that is the case, you get a random number between 0.1 and 0.3 affinity, and that will somewhat up your chances of, leveling up to the next affinity level. But it's very low amount and it does not happen very often. So we're going to say that most of your affinity is going to be gained from the other two methods. So hopefully this helps when if you're trying to get your affinity of your ships higher, or just needed a basic understanding of why people care about affection of their ships. Thank you guys for watching. This is just a short little guide for those of you who don't maybe know everything there is to know about affinity, and hopefully it was useful. If you like these sort of guides, please subscribe to the channel, and we'll have more of them in the future. Thank you.